Well, I think from the experience in North America, we were behind both our European and Asian colleagues in working as a collaborative group. And over the last few years, we've now really established our ability as a national consortium to be able to perform studies for CNS germ cell tumors. And some of the things we really found out is, how can we really find the subsets of patients who need very intensive therapy? How can we find those subsets of patients who need less intensive therapy, i.e. where we focus on not just the treatment, but the aftermath of the treatment itself? You know, we're excited, specifically ACNS 0122, which was our national trial for the secreting or non-germinomatous germ cell tumors and high-risk germinomas. And in that, we have excellent survival data. And now comes the very important work to look at specific outcomes in those patients, endocrinologic follow-up, looking at hearing, looking at quality of life. Now, all studies evolve. And unfortunately, in the study that we performed, we did not build into the protocol specific neuropsychological testing. But the lessons we learned have been in place for the future trial, which is now open and accruing at a much faster rate than any previous U.S. trials ever had. And in these trials, for both germinoma and non-germinomatous germ cell tumors, is mandatory neuropsychological testing. Because I think that's really one of the critical elements. It's not just about survival, it's about how you survive. I like to tell families that the cost of the cure has a lifetime to be repaid. And I don't mean financial. And so I think we have to be very careful. And in the trials that we're now performing, the goal is not just survival, but how we can increase that quality of life. And so you have to measure that. There are papers out there that patients at presentation already have some neuropsychological sequelae, some memory issues from the tumor themselves. And so without baseline testing, we have to know what is the tumor, what is the treatment, and how best to maximize for the children as they grow throughout their adulthood. In the Children's Oncology Group study that is now open for all CNS germ cell tumors, there is another study called ALTEC, which is a neuropsychological battery that will be in place for all patients. So as part of the eligibility criteria to enroll in our trial, you must enroll in that neuropsychological testing, and that's a longitudinal, quick-based neuropsych testing. It certainly is not the 6 hours of individual testing that's performed for patients after therapy, but it will give us baseline and longitudinal data and can be supplemented by further testing. We have to work as a world community and not as individuals and individual countries. And in the trial that I performed, I think we have good evidence now to show that carboplatin is equally, if not greater efficacy than cisplatin. And we want to get away from this because of some of the risks of administering cisplatin, not just audiologically, but the management of patients with endocrinopathies.